Hey guys, making a vlog today because I got more time at the end of the day. So basically, last 3 days have been very productive for me. I have so I, because I'm not going out to the city, and all I'm doing is really I'm working, and the only time I go out is to shop for food or whatnot. Uh, it's made my life very simple, and because I'm not going out to the city and stuff, I don't get home at like 10, 11, 12, in the afternoon, at night time. So I've been able to get my sleeping schedule really nice. And so on Friday, because I work at 6 a.m. and I wake up at 5, I was like, why don't I just keep waking up at 5? Because those days feel amazing. Like, because I only work 3 hours, 6 till 9. And so I've worked and I'm awake, and then I just got a whole day ahead of me. And yeah, it feels fantastic. And so I love that feeling. So I did it. So Saturday and Sunday, it's Sunday now. I'm waking up at 5, went to bed at 8. It's like 7:30 now, so I'm going to go to bed in like 20-30 minutes. And it's been really good. As soon as I wake up, I basically drink a glass of water and study for about 1 or 2 hours. I've been studying Greek mythology. Um, Basically, I've mentioned this book 1,000 times, The Hero of the Thousand Faces. So I've read through that once. It was a very hard book to read, but I got through it. And now, because I've got through it once, and I've like Googled all the words I don't know, and I really made an effort to write down each paragraph and what's in it, I can actually just read through it like a normal book. I just pick up the book, okay, read through it, and I understand it. And like, hey, I forgot about that concept, or that concept makes sense to me right now. And so I was thinking, I'm not sure if I'll do it or not, but as a way of learning, I've been sort of creating a video about. I've been thinking about like maybe creating an essay or a video on each of the chapters of Hero of the Thousand Faces, just so I can really know I understand it. And like with the first chapter, it's pretty good. Like I can pretty much recite all the talking points from just memory. Because like I've split it up into 4 categories of what it's about: archetypes, monomyth, myth and dream, the world naval, and then but what I hadn't done is he uses myths or stories as an example. So in the first chapter he talks about the Greek story of Minos and Theseus. Minos, the one who betrayed Poseidon by taking the white bull he gave him, that Poseidon gave Minos, and not sacrificing it like he asked him to, but keeping it for himself. And then as a result of that, cursed it, so his wife fell in love with the bull, and then his wife had a baby with the bull. And then that bull, half man, called a minotaur, because Minos, Mino, and then, no, Tor. It's like another name for... Anyway. And so basically they get a guy to build a huge labyrinth to put the minotaur in, and then every 9 years they got to sacrifice 7 male and female like youths, and basically they've raided the Athenians. They've taken them over, and they made a peace deal with them, saying we'll give you. Minos invaded them because Minos is from Crete, Crete. Yeah, so he invaded Athens, said you can survive, but you gotta give us 14 kids every 9 years for sacrifice. And then a guy called Theseus volunteered himself, like you've seen the Hunger Games, like I volunteer as tribute. He's like the prince, so just below the king, son of the king. And the king's like, no, don't do it. He's like, no, I gotta save these youths. And he goes in and he kills the Minotaur with help of Minos's daughter. Gives him the string for the labyrinth. Anyway, basically he used that story to talk about the archetypes of the hero being Theseus and the tyrant Minos, because Minos was a hero, because he was selected by Poseidon and whatnot, and he was a good ruler, but he became greedy and he talks about how the cow represents. I need to read through it again. Represents like greed or hanging on to life, and not because the tyrant makes others serve him. There was such a good way of putting it, and the hero like serves others, but yeah, I don't know, something to do with eco. I'll be able to explain it better when I read it. Anyway, that's a long tangent, but the reason. So he has these, because he has these story examples in the book of myths and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, I've sort of finished the script for this chapter, but I haven't included anything about how the myth of Minos relates to it. And also in the chapter he has about 4 dreams. So he's got this book where these people recorded dreams of like patients and then try to find similarities. So he talks about like 3 or 4 of them and says how they relate to myth and whatever. But I haven't studied them yet. So what I've been doing is like, okay, maybe I can make this one video explaining the like main concepts of the first chapter, Myth and Dream, and then I can make individual videos on each of the stories. So of each of the 3 or 4 dreams and the one myth he talks about for the first chapter. And so I was like, okay, I'll do that. Maybe I'll try it out, see what happens. And so the last 2 or 3 days I've been doing that. And it's hard. But it's getting easier. I'm understanding it more. So the book Ovid Metamorphosis, which he puts in his end notes, Joseph Campbell, in The Hero of the Thousand Faces, he puts in the end notes of where he got the story from. So far, all I've been able to find is that this story is in book 8, and it might be in other books, but I haven't read through all the books yet. So the book Ovid Metamorphosis has 17 books. They're like chapters. And book 8 is the one with Minos, but that doesn't tell the whole story. There's missing parts of it. The beginning and end is missing. Like, it doesn't tell how Minos killed himself when he saw and it doesn't show Minos' betrayal of Poseidon and I don't know how to say her name, Phasphie, I don't know, PH something, his wife's love for the bull or whatever. It misses that whole part out, but it also talks about a part that wasn't talked, that Joseph Campbell didn't mention, where the fight with the Athenians. So I'm trying to find where else Minos is, but I've gone through like every Wikipedia page on Minos, and it doesn't show where. It does show where he occurs in the Metamorphosis, but doesn't show where he occurs in the Iliad and the Odyssey, and I've just learned there's like I don't know how many. I found this website with all like the Greek mythology books, and there's like a lot of them, so I'm like, and it doesn't show where he occurs. So my thinking is I'm just gonna read through all of Metamorphosis. That might take me a week or 2. And then we maybe read through all of Odyssey or Iliad. But I might not have to do that because I did find this one page. Anyway, I'm getting off track. What I'm thinking of doing is just study a lot of Greek mythology because it's interesting, and then I might make the videos on. Because so what I feel like this book is for me, like Hero of the Thousand Faces. It's like if you ever play like a video game, like the Super Mario 64, you have like the castle, and that's like your hub world, and like you have all the paintings, and each painting is a different level. And so I feel like what this book is, it's all like my hub world. It's like, okay, this chapter has these 3 myths in it. What's this myth? And then, okay, this is one Greek myth, and so I go and I explore that Greek myth, and then I see all these other Greek myths around it, and I sort of see how it all fits together. Okay, this was done in this time, and then there was these other guys beforehand, and it's loosely based off history, and I get those like sort of like understand this area of Greek mythology, and then he talks about the Navajo and the American Indians, and I'm like, okay, I'll start understanding this area of mythology, start branching out. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment, and just gonna take time. Yeah. And last thing I want to talk about is I also started. So I've been testing out a lot of different ways of writing. I could go through a brief history. So I first started and I was like, okay, I'll get a screenwriting app. I got like Celtex, and then I just tried writing stories and it was trash. I was like, that doesn't work. And then I read Story by Robert McKee, and the last chapter in that he talks about how to write, and he talks about, okay, you got to get these cards and you got to write on them, and then you can switch out scenes for different scenes, and each card is like a scene. And so I tried that and it worked decent, but not amazing. But what I really am enjoying is, okay, I have this cool idea for a scene, and so I've thought of this one scene and I've written it down, and I like that scene, and it's basically it's a tarot reading scene where it's like this guy walks into like this like blue room, which is like a hexagon shape, and it's got like, I'm thinking like each hexagon might have like a different star sign on it, and it's like a blue room. It's sort of like you feel like you're in space or like the deep ocean, sort of. That's what the colors feel like. And there's this dome on top, and that dome has like all these, like a Mandela pattern, and then that opens up and you can see the sky, and then in the middle there's a tarot reader with this woman who reads your tarot and tells you your future, and yeah. And so I had that idea for the scene, and I was like, this is a cool scene, I like it, but I can not pull this off. Like, I cannot explain how much detail is in the scene in one page of a script. So I was like, okay. So I bought a folder, and and then I bought some paper, and on one piece of paper today all I did was write blue, and I was like, okay, so here's one part of the scene, the room is blue. Okay, should it be blue or should it be another color? What are the pros of it being blue? Okay, blue reminds you of the ocean, the deep ocean, or space, so it sort of reminds you of the unknown. In the unknown, you have that sense of wonder and danger that comes along with the unknown, because the deep sea, there might be a sea monster down there, or you look up at the stars with wonder, sort of thing. And and so I just went through and I wrote down, okay, what's all the things that the color blue evokes? Alright, it does all this. What's some ideas I could use with what type of blue do I want? Okay, I went onto Google Images. I looked up like temple blue rooms, and I was like, okay, this is what they look like. It looks like And so I just got this one specific point, and I just expanded on it like tons. And then that was really satisfying for me, because I'm like, okay, so I can just slowly go through. The more I learn about mythology, like I learned about Delphi, who's an oracle. I think oracle, I'm not sure. Another name, not witch. Oracle, whatever, I'm saying. Delphi, and I don't know how to say that name. Okay, this is a Greek interpretation of a oracle. Okay, my tarot reader is sort of an oracle. What sort of elements can I take from that and add on to that? And then when I read more mythology, I learn about more shamans and oracles and stuff like that. Okay, they have these in common. This is what I can put onto my character. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. It's been really fun. And I'm going to peace out.